Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Farihussolihin, and today I would like to talk about the principle of cooling tower. So first of all, why do we need cooling tower? Cooling tower is purposely used to reject heat from any building or any industrial process that constantly produce heat as a waste. So when this heat is get rejected, it is likely for us as an engineer or industry player to obtain maximum efficiency of the process. But if this heat is not get rejected, we will incur additional costs to fix the damage. Okay, so next is, in general, the cooling tower usually apply or utilize the concept of evaporative cooling. So what is evaporative cooling? Evaporative cooling is usually the process of liquid evaporating from a surface that results in the drop or reducing the surface temperature of the water. So in details, the latent heat, which is the heat stored in the water, will change its state from liquid into gas when the heat is absorbed by the water. So long ago, when the cooling tower has not conceived yet by the engineer, most of the industry during the Industrial Revolution used cooling ponds, lakes or river for the sake of cooling. And due to the constant improvisation amongst the engineer, they have finally produced or conceived a cooling tower that runs on a high efficiency, just what the industry use today. So before I explain the cooling tower principle or the working mechanism, I would like to share to you guys the cooling tower components and their specific function. So first of all, we have the distribution system. Distribution system is a part of the cooling tower that is used to spread the water onto the heat exchanger. The heat exchanger is what we call as field. So in this context or in this distribution system, they use a mechanical device that we call as nozzle. The nozzle will spray the hot water onto the heat exchanger. So other than that, we also have the collection basin. Collection basin is basically used to collect the cool water, because that is why it is located at the bottom of the cooling tower. And the third one is we have the drift eliminator. Drift eliminator is purposely used to reduce water losses. So how did the drift eliminator reduce water losses? As the hot water evaporated at the heat exchanger, the air combined with the water, which is now we call as water vapor, are moving out from the cooling tower. Before as it reach the drift eliminator, the hot air usually will pass through the drift eliminator, but the heavy water will touch on the drift eliminator panel and then condense and drop down back onto the collection base as a form of liquid. So next is we have the field. The field is usually act as a heat exchanger. So the field is actually a vital part of the cooling tower. So what does the field do? So the field usually increase the contact surface area. So when I said the word contact surface area, a large contact surface area will contribute to a greater heat transfer rate. So it is very important for the engineers to always making sure that the field is always working at its maximum efficiency. And then we have also the axial fan. Axial fan is usually used to force the airflow to enter the cooling tower through a chamber or channel that we call as louver. So what is louver? Louver, when we look at the picture here, louver is actually the air inlets that allow the free entry of ambient air. It is also designed in a cage-shaped design that it deny the free entry of the wild animal from entering the cooling tower. So we also have the drain, which is used to drain water out from the cooling tower. It is also set as a point of blowdown that helps the engineer to control the concentration of the liquid, or maybe to remove some part of the sedimentation. And we have also provided with overflow drain that prevent the water collected on the basin from overflowing. So now I would like to tell you guys that we have in this work there are 3 types of cooling tower. We have natural cooling tower, forced cooling tower, and also induced cooling tower. So natural cooling tower usually doesn't involve any application of mechanical device or fan. And the forced cooling tower usually use a fan that is installed before the heat exchanger, just for the sake to force the air to enter the cooling tower. The induced cooling tower use fan that is installed after the heat exchanger. So in the modern world of engineering, most of the industry usually use induced cooling tower. So how do counterflow cooling tower works? So first of all, when we look at the diagram here, the hot water will enter the cooling tower through pipes. So when it reach at the distribution system, the nozzle will be moving very fast just to spread the hot water over the field, which is the heat exchanger. So when we look at the moving fan on the top of the cooling tower, the high speed moving fan actually feasible for the creation of the Bernoulli's principle. So when the fan is moving so fast, it creates such a low pressure inside the cooling tower. So this is what we call as Bernoulli's principle. So the lower, which is located at the bottom of the cooling tower, allow the free entry of the outer high pressure air to enter the cooling tower, and then making sure that the air entering and moving out from the cooling tower as smooth as possible. So when the hot water is spread on the heat exchanger, the hot water evaporates because there is a large surface area on the contact, and with the help of the moving air, it helps to move the hot water vapor out from the tower. So as it reaches the drift eliminator located at the upper part of the distribution system, usually, like I said before, the hot air will pass through the drift eliminator, but the heavy water droplets will condense into water and then recollected back at the collection basin at the bottom of the cooling tower. So the white fume that usually we see on the industrial side as a white fumes, this that is what we call as the hot water vapor, the air water vapor. So as a conclusion, we as a future engineer needs to know and needs to learn the knowledge or the basic principle of the cooling tower, as we are the ones who will be in charge of maintaining the process of the cooling tower, and also we are responsible for designing or do some part of improvisation for the cooling tower, so that in the future we can obtain a very efficient cooling tower. So that's all from me. Thank you.